Hi guys, this is my book review for Seraphina by Rachel Hartman. It is a fantasy novel where dragons exist, but they can also take human form, which is just so cool. I love this book. It is so imaginative. So it takes place in a medieval type world, so it's technically teen fiction. The main character is 16, but because it's a medieval world, she is an adult in this society, and she's a musician, so she's a capable enough musician to be a teacher. So it doesn't really read like a normal young adult book, which I love. It's just great, awesome fantasy is what I would call it. So, yay! So in this world there are dragons, and the dragons can reshape their bodies and change into a human form. However, the dragons don't really think like the humans. They aren't experienced at having emotions. So these human bodies they have start to get emotions, and the dragons don't really know how to deal with that or process it. So they have a very strict do not get attached policy, or we will drag you back to the dragon homeland and suck your memories out. So there's a lot of distrust between the humans and the dragons in this book. Yeah. So there's an uneasy peace. They've had a peace treaty in effect for the last 40 years in which there is a ceasefire. You know, dragons can't eat humans, humans can't attack dragons, sort of thing going on. We're not going to be at war. And in exchange, the dragons can take human form and come live among the humans in their society and become scholars and study humans. So we're coming up on the 40th anniversary of the peace treaty in this book, and there are giant celebrations, and the head dragon is coming to visit for a diplomatic mission with the queen. So there is the distrust that is like bubbling under the surface is starting to erupt into lots and lots of chaos, basically. There are human terrorist groups getting ready to, well, there are human terrorist groups like the KKK sort of thing going on, where they will attack dragons in human form, and the dragons are just, they're not taking it well either. And the book starts off with one of the princes being murdered by decapitation, which is traditionally a dragon mode of murder. So, you know, there's just a lot going on here. And our main character, Seraphina, is a talented musician. She has a position at court as the assistant to the court composer, and she teaches the princess music lessons, teaches her harpsichord. And I love the way that music is drawn throughout this book, and it makes it feel very alive, and the emotional connections between the music. So that's a brilliant part of the book. But Seraphina also has a secret she has to keep. Seraphina's half-dragon, and she thinks she's the only half-dragon, and she needs to keep the secret because neither the humans or the dragons are likely to accept her if she lets the secret out. So she passes herself off as human and tries not to get her secret discovered. So she has a pretty solitary life trying to keep the secret, and her only close confidant is her uncle, Orma, who is her teacher. But he's also a dragon, so that also, people already don't trust her because she has a dragon for a teacher. And they think that she is too sympathetic of the dragons. So, okay. But Seraphina also has a unique position at court because she gives music lessons to the princess, Griselda, and she gets to influence. They're about the same age. The princess is 15 and Seraphina is 16, so they find natural companionship. They find a natural companionship with each other. And yeah, she gets to become friends with the princess and try to influence the princess and the wider court's ideas of dragons, which is really important as tensions are starting to get high. And she also has to try to evade the notice of Prince Lucian Kiggs, who is Princess Griselda's fiancé and is also the head of the guard. He is an incredibly perceptive person, and Seraphina is helping try to figure out if a dragon did kill the other prince, or somebody else did it and was trying to set up the dragons to start a war. So they're trying to keep peace, and Seraphina is trying to use her knowledge of dragon culture to keep peace while not being found out that she is actually half dragon. Because that probably isn't going to end very well. It's kind of a complicated book, but I love it so much. I love the book because it's not incredibly simple, that there's just enough complicated plot lines and characters to make it interesting. And the book is really well written. It does use a lot of longer words, but there is a glossary in the back of the book, which I didn't know about when I first read it, and finished reading it and came to the back of the book. It's like, oh, there's a glossary for the words. So use that if you need it. There's also a cast of characters if you start getting confused about who everybody is. But yeah, I love this book. This is actually a reread for me. This is my second time reading it. First time I read it, I was like, oh my god, it's so awesome, and then found out the sequel was not coming out for another year and a half. I was like, I don't know if I can read this book again and not know what's happening next. So I'm rereading, I have just reread it, and I'm currently reading the sequel now. The sequel is Shadow Scale, by the way, so definitely go look for that, and that book review is also coming. Such a pretty book, too. I love the dragons. I love how vivid the world is and how thought out it is. I love the medieval culture is interesting. I think that's it. Okay. Love you guys. Peace.